So welcome to Joël Vuadens-Chan Leading with Purpose podcasts. And our episode today is about networking. I will discuss this important topic with my guest, Lina Cardosa. Welcome.
Hello, guys, and hello, Joel. Thank you so much for having me. Feel honored, and I'm looking really forward to this conversation.
Great, great. So before we discuss about networking and your experience, would you just explain what business you are in?
Yeah, sure. I am in the fitness and health industry, and I help you reduce your belly fat or get rid of your belly fat without counting calories or starving by repairing your gut and by doing strength training.
Wow, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So, in how do you acquire clients? How do you get to people?
Well, there's two main ways. One is through social media. I do a lot of advertising there and content creation. And the second way, and so often more powerful way, is through personal connections, word of mouth. And for that, I also go to networking events sometimes.
Wow. So, in the age of social media and digital, meeting people face to face still matters?
Now more than ever, I think, because we're all on our phones all the time for everything, and the personal connections, they fade. And I think when things are fading, the thing like the personal connections becomes so much more important, and people are craving that. They want it back because I think we humans, we're made to connect. We're not made to be in isolation. So yes, it matters.
Wow. So, to meet those people, you go regularly to networking events?
Well, now after reading your book, I'm thinking that I should go more regularly,
Oh,
even so every few months. But that's one thing that I'm gonna work on because, as you said, like practicing makes you better, and I think yeah, with every experience we grow. So that's one of the important tips that I'm taking away from your book, which was incredible, by the way.
great. Thanks. But so one great point is if you go one time and you start going to events, even after reading my book or any others, you're not going to be good at the first time. So thank you for reminding us that this is like any skills. It has to be trained. Things can go wrong. It's okay. It's over time that we
Exactly.
that we that we master it. So just tell us about your last event.
Well, I'll tell you a funny connection actually. Like one day before I went to my last event, I was reading your chapter of your new book, The Career Breakthrough, where it's all about networking. So I really had the chance to implement those tips right away.
Wow.
And it made such a big difference because when people say that books can change your life, like they're so right, books can change your life, but they can only change your life if you apply those things. If you don't just read it and put it in a corner, but if you apply them right away and you feel the effect and see the effect. So I went to that networking event and I went home with 6 different contacts.
Wow. Amazing.
And like spoke to a lot of people. So, but the 6 different contacts are now like on my social media, on my WhatsApp. So it's really, really valuable.
So did you know anybody when you arrived there?
I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know who the speaker was, but I thought like, yeah, let's like it was about speaking, and I thought the topic is interesting. Let's go and see what is there because whenever you go somewhere and there's new people and it's about networking, there's always good surprises if you know the tools, if you know what to do and not just stand in a corner.
Wow. Sounds easy the way you tell it, but I'm not a shy person. But when I go in a room where I don't know anybody, I'm maybe not shy, but at least a little bit nervous. So how did you start?
I think everyone is a little bit nervous. And one thing that I tried from your book that I never did before that was so powerful, and I'm definitely going to continue on doing this, was arriving early. Because usually I arrive rather late, not too late, but yeah, not so early. Because like I was thought like, yeah, arriving early is strange, but it's actually the most powerful thing that you can do, because just as you mentioned, you have the first chance to connect to people, to speak to them, and then later you can connect one person to another, and this
Oh,
will give you even more authority. And well, what happened is I went there with my mom, and when we were walking to the hotel, there was another woman, and she was dressed well, and like she was dressed like she would go to that event. So I asked her, "Oh, are you also going to the event?" And then like she answered. But in the beginning, she was a bit like distant, and often with women, it's like that. We're in like defense mode, maybe because also we're all nervous, and I started asking her questions, and in the end, we ended up being in such deep conversations. Like, I learned a lot about her life. And also, during the whole event, she was our sitting neighbor. And I did talk to other people, but she was like there. And if I would be a shy person that needs somebody, that would have been perfect, because it's so much easier to connect to somebody when like it's just you, versus when you have all the people standing and already talking. So this was key advice, and it's worth gold.
wow. This really makes me think. Thank you so much for sharing that. Because often when I'm in a group, being quite an extrovert myself, I tend to go to the loud people, to
Mm,
the one who is on the side and is a little bit shy. I realize in general, even in a group, these are the people who are the most interesting one.
mm,
The broadcaster who repeat the same thing to everybody. Sorry, it took me very long time to realize that. They might not be the most interesting.
that's
And it's
amazing.
harder to get to them because everybody is talking. But that person in the corner, you don't know. There's
Yeah.
maybe a treasure of many different things, knowledge, connection, whatever it is. And I just find amazing what you say, that maybe we are nervous ourselves, but so are the other people. So two nervous people connecting themselves, and you describe it really interestingly, might come in a defensive or whichever weird way. Break the ice, reach out to this person. It makes you less nervous
Yes.
because you're connecting with somebody who is okay, and you also make the day for that person.
Yeah. 100%.
So you're helping yourself, but you're first helping somebody else as well, and it could be more than one person, because you could do this several times. Or you start with that circle. I think you alluded to that. You start with that circle with the two people. Maybe you invite a third person to join,
Mm.
and maybe a fourth, or so you actually connect this way. So how did it go in those conversations?
I had really great conversations, and like um also one thing like that I did practice before, because it's like part of my principles, also in my faith, but that you mentioned that most people just don't do, is to put the focus on getting to know that person genuinely, and not only like the typical things like what did you do last week, but who is that person? What do they care about? What moves them? What challenges do they have? And when you genuinely want to connect with a person through that, it just like you differentiate yourself from others so much, because most people don't do that.
Yeah,
Like, we
yeah.
love to talk about ourselves,
Hmm.
and yeah, we love to put the emphasis on ourselves and to chase maybe the goal of pitching to people or whatever. um but so like more people should be doing this, but not enough people are doing this, like caring about the person that's in front of you,
Wow.
not their job, their status. Like you can ask those questions, of course, but who is this person on a deeper level? Because even like if somebody is like a big person in the industry and is really known, then they will have people come up to them and talk about those things. But who asks about what's going inside of them? Like this makes you stand out so much because it's how you make them feel, and you make them feel seen.
It sounds amazing what you say, but I heard so many people saying people don't like to share personal thing. It's an event about business, so they want to remain professional. Is that true?
Not necessarily, but it's about knowing how to get there. It's not about like asking the deep questions from the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's about building trust, and it's actually not like it's about asking them, for example, what got you to come here? I do ask like, what industry are you in? And then like, what's your next goal? What's your challenges in that moment? And my favorite question, because every time I ask that question, people like they stop and they really have to think, and then they
Yes.
say how much of a great question it is.
Oh,
Is
I love it.
what's the most important thing you have learned in the last year or in the last few months, or you can use whatever time frame you want. But this question, most of the time, in 90% of the time, lead to deeper conversation and to them opening up more. It's just like a door, a secret door that you open, and it lets you in into all of their things. Like, yeah.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing. And two things come in my mind when I listen to your amazing experience. The first one is that very good questions is the one people don't know the answer straight away.
That's a good one.
Because if I ask you what's your name and you reply Lina, okay, fine. I mean, stupid to ask that. I mean, you might have a name tag and I know, or what's the weather today? Yeah, it's raining.
Yeah.
Okay, we know it doesn't help. It's not nice. It's a bit of a waste of time. But when I realize that when we are able to ask questions that make people think, we help them because they find the answer before giving you the answer. They have to find it for themselves. So they are asking themselves the question. So little trick, when people take a few seconds to not silence when you ask the question, it's a very good sign.
That's a good one.
If it's one they don't understand, it's stupid. No, I don't want to answer, but oh wow, like you said, I never heard that question. Or wow, let me think. Or and it's not, they're not answering to you; they're answering to themselves and
Yeah.
to you as well, and you're a witness of that. But yeah, go ahead.
Another thing that came to my mind that I could not implement this time because I didn't really know who was going there, but it leads like it's connected to the question that you asked before. One thing that you mentioned, looking the people up who go there. Like you shared some very powerful ways on how to understand more of their values, what they're all about. I'm not gonna tell all the ways. You will have to read the book to get there. But this can be something powerful because if you already know a little bit about what they care about, you can ask those questions and you will know that they really hit the topic that they like to talk about and what moves them. So I think this can be even more powerful, and I have yet to implement that.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing. I think it takes time to learn, to practice, to be comfortable. But let me share a thought with you. You are in the coaching, the health and nutrition coaching. And so are we in a way in nearly every profession. There's always an advisory a way, because what we realize is whichever business we approach, we are choosing first the person. We are actually not buying a product, a subscription, a book or something. We are buying trust. If I buy a book, I don't know what's inside. Maybe some people told a few things about it. If I buy a car, I don't know if they will even deliver it to me. I don't even know if it will be reliable. If I buy a coaching package with you, I don't know if you would even be up to the job.
Mm,
I mean, this is normal. We have some references, but it's still a trust that we make in people and their company. So that
exactly.
trust, or the suspicion of trust, because we cannot fully know it, the most expensive or most precious currency is trust. There's so many things out there. What is really reliable? And
This is.
if you can have those conversations, especially that you are about understanding people and supporting them in their journey towards good health, maybe I can summarize this way.
Mhm.
Um, there would have to be a great relationship and a great trust. They will have to trust you, and they will have to trust that you are listening to them. So as you do this right away, the network events, in fact, you are doing a demo of your services.
That's
Not fully, but to some extent.
no, but for sure. Also, I'm thinking about a lot of people have bad experiences with maybe previous coaches, not only in the fitness industry, but in all
Yep.
kinds of industry, because there are good people and there are bad people who maybe just want your money or whatever. So the more bad experiences, the harder it is to trust somebody. And maybe people are not going to trust somebody just through their content, but through who and how they generally are. So yeah, it goes a long way. Like you can build up trust so much faster when you just have a real genuine conversation with people, and this is in person.
Wow. And do you think this works better than doing a direct pitch and just talking about yourself?
For sure. Like when I don't know you, I don't care about what you do. Like we always care about ourselves. And like depends on the values and everything. Like I've learned, and I wasn't like that in the past, but I've learned that you can learn something from everybody, and like everybody holds a treasure inside, and to like genuinely care about people. But most people don't. The most people love talking about themselves. So after they got to talk about themselves. They would be, because of how you make them feel, they will be interested in what are you doing, and now they listen. Not when you come with that right away. And I have to tell you a great story. It's a short one. I'm gonna make it short, but it's amazing.
Please, yeah.
I was making like getting my nails done, and there was a man doing my nails, and we started a conversation, and basically I was asking him question after question, and he was telling me about his family, about his dog, about everything. And in the end, he tells me, "You're such an interesting person." Like he tells me. And this is when I really realized the power of just asking questions, and it's not the first time that I've had
Yep.
that. People like generally perceive it as an interesting conversation when they get to tell you a lot about them. And also, it does filter the kind of person, because if somebody after a time does not ask you anything about them, about yourself, it's also like maybe a person that you don't necessarily want to connect deeper with, because they really don't only care about themselves. Like we kind of always care about ourselves, but then when we get like, yeah, after a time we get interested in the other person. But if a person doesn't ask any question and just keeps on talking, this also shows you maybe this is not the right person to connect with,
Yeah.
or to connect deeper with.
Wow, thanks for sharing. I just love when you said that you were not necessarily doing that before, or certainly not born that way.
No
It's more
way.
natural to talk about, and so it is for me. So I felt a little bit embarrassed to write those 2 chapters in the book on networking, because most of my life I didn't do that. It's quite a recent learning.
Oh wow.
I mean, last 6, 7 years. So
Mm.
when you read those 2 chapters, don't think I'm born this way or I done it this way. What you hear now from what we hear from you, Lina, is the same thing. This is things we learned recently. So can you. So as you listen to us, it's your chance. Whatever method you have used before, whatever, just at your next network event, you now have a new way. Several details you will find in this older book, step by step, how you prepare for the event, where you position yourself in the event, come early, even which part of the room you should stand in, how you bring conversation, and what you could get out of it step by step, and practice it and make it your own. This is just a suggestion. Make it your own. Making it natural for that. So it's
And it's not going to be perfect from the start.
absolutely. So we're getting better, and we are learning. So as we are closing now, what would be one word or one sentence that would summarize for you networking?
Networking is not about you. It's about the other person. Like, this is the key. And if you implement that, you will notice the difference. And you will
So
get out so much more of that.
yes, wonderful. Thanks for that great reminder. Turn upside down the way you network to make it fun, conversational, relational, and even get more out of it.
Yes.
So wonderful. Whatever you have done before networking, if you're gifted or not, try it. Learn this approach, and you'll see. You'll be surprised. So thank you so much, Lina, for your sharing, for your passion for people, and really wishing you really great success in your business, because I believe it really changes the life of people in an area that is really hard. Getting over those fat belly, those kilos, but also those bad habits,
Yeah.
and really changing our life.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for listening. It was an honor. And likewise, keep going, because you're moving lives and you're changing mindsets. Love it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.